welcome back to Building the Boys. It's time for our weekly catch-up. It's been a while. It's been a quiet week. There's not been a lot to do, really. I have been pottering on, though. So me and Jack are hammering through all the R2-D2s that we've got backed up, because we've got a lot of R2-D2 backed up. So we're powering through that at the moment to see exactly how much we can do, and it's been fun. I gotta be honest, it's kind of a gas. I mean, I build it all in one hit. Normally, we don't do that. We build it when it arrives. So having a bunch built up is actually quite fun. I quite like it. I don't think it's ever going to be me. I can't ever see me collect. I've seen people do it, and that is a level of discipline I don't have, where they've collected 2 years worth of something, then started building it. I'd never be able to do that. It's just not me. I can't resist the temptation to start. But it's been fun. It's been really nice. I've been building this for like nearly a month now, because I'm grabbing 20 minutes here and there. I've been building a Row Life tea shop, an Alice in Wonderland themed tea shop, and every single time I get into it, something else comes up. So I think today I'm just going to finish it. I'm going to play through it and finish it and get that one up. We have literally just received, postage just been, we have just received the end of the Iron Man. Now he's built, so there's nothing to go to him, but we've got all these pelvis pieces, which is a very bizarre thing, but we've got these lumps of pelvis so we can put them in different poses. Now originally I was going to do that. I was going to put them in different poses. I don't want to. I'm happy with how he is, to be honest with you. I've seen the hero landing pose that a lot of people love. I don't. It's not for me. I like him as he is. So I will make these pelvis pieces. I'll show you how they're done. And we have got the final part of the premium stand, which is the bar that holds him. So that will be going on there as well. But then we're done. So Iron Man is finished. Now, what did come with him was literature about what happens with your subscription now, because there is an extension for this, where you can do the battle damage. I've already cancelled, so I immediately went and cancelled my subscription, because I was already no on the battle damage. Having seen the insert that comes with it, definitely no, because honestly, it just looks like someone's took some wire wool to him and scuffed him up. That's all it looks like. It's just, they say battle damage, I say bad paintwork. Because that's what it looks like. It doesn't look like battle damage. It just looks scuffed. That's all he is. He just looks scuffed up. And I'm like, nah, that's no. that's not for me. It just doesn't. It doesn't look good. It just doesn't. If he was genuinely battle damaged, if they'd done like a crack in the helmet, dents in him, scorch marks, maybe. But he genuinely just looks like someone has took some wire wool or a Brillo pad and just gone to town on it. And it's yeah, no, this no. And it's 20 issues. It's a 20 issue run, which sounds, oh, that's only 20 issues. I mean, that's a lot. 20 issues is a lot. That's 200 quid. Would you pay 200? If you want to give me, I'll tell you what, I'll do a deal. For 100 quid, I'll come to your house with some wire wool and just scratch hell out your model. Save yourself 100 quid. Because that's ultimately what it looks like. I mean, look, to each their own, but I just don't think it looks good. I think it looks quite bad, and yeah, it's not what I'll be doing. It's not what I'll be touching. I just don't think it looks good. I really don't. So that one's being cancelled. Titanic, it has shipped, so there's a chance it's going to arrive this week. I don't think it will. I think it'll probably be the early part of next week. If it does, great, because I'm looking forward to that. And in this next delivery, we get the grand staircase for the superstructure, which is going to be nice. I'm sure it's going to upset people that it's not going to be a very ornate staircase. It's not going to be. It's in 1/200th scale. I mean, your eyes wouldn't pick up that detail, but yeah, we'll see when it arrives. But that'll be good. We've also been told that Disney Doll's House has shipped, so Disney Doll's House will be up to 54, which means we'll be putting in our first staircase. So again, there's a chance that's going to arrive this week. Realistically, I think it'll probably be next week, but it may arrive this week. And speaking of the Disney Doll's House, in Japan, they are now up to 153. So they are 33 stages into the extension. And it looks really nice. It looks really nice. Now, I know initially we were like, well, there's got to be loads to it, because there's no way that 80 issues spreads over 2 vehicles. Nah, 80 issues spreads over 2 vehicles, I think, because it's slow progress. It looks nice, but it is slow progress. But that said, the furniture and figures that you get with these ones are really nice. So I can kind of see it, but it's really slow progress. So the extension is really slow. But you don't have to do it again. So if you are building a doll's house, you don't have to keep going. Like Iron Man, you can just drop out when you get to the stage you're happy at. I can see a lot of people getting to 120 being like, I'm done, I'm walking away from it. What you can't do, which I think a few people are hoping you could do, but what you definitely can't do, is if you were thinking that you could just stay on for a bit of the extension and get like the Christmas vehicle, then not do the summer one, or vice versa. No, the way they've done it is they've mixed it up. So you start on one vehicle, then halfway through switch over to the other vehicle, then halfway through that switch back to the original vehicles. There's no way of doing it. You're doing all of it, or you're doing none of it, basically. But that's the economics of it. You have to expect these things. But it's been good. The big news last week was Fanhome and IXO working together to finish off the Eagle Moss models, which is great. It's really good. There is something you need to know about that, though, which is something I found out the hard way, and a couple of other people did. If you fill out the form to pre-order or to alert me when ready, if you use autofill, it doesn't register. It does not register your email. You have to manually type it in. So if you haven't received an email back from them yet, go back and do it again, but manually type in your email address, because once you do that, it's immediate. It's literally, so I did it for Ghostbusters, got nothing, and it was about a day and a half. I thought, this is a bit weird. Literally go in, type your email address in, don't use autofill, then hit enter. The email comes through like that. So if you've done that, my advice would be go back, do it again, and you'll get the update from them, and you'll be on their list. It's a good thing. I know it's not what everyone wanted. I mean, I find it very strange that any of this could be seen as a negative. This is a good thing. This is a positive thing, because Eagle Moss left us high and dry. They just did. They potentially left us with very expensive paperweights. And IXO and Fanhome swooped in. They've saved the day. They have. So there's sticking points, like the display case. Well, I didn't get a display case. You're not going to get a display case. Your contract for that display case was with Eagle Moss. So your business for that case was with Eagle Moss. They no longer exist. So your contract with them is null and void, because they don't exist to carry out that contract. So your subscription that was going to get you a display case was with Eagle Moss. Eagle Moss no longer exists, therefore you're not getting a display case. It really is that simple. That's how this starts, that's how it ends. So it is written, so it will be. If you want a display case, there are options. I mean, you can buy display cases outside of the companies. There is a chance that Fanhome will carry these, and maybe they will sell them, because again, I think it would be short-sighted on their part to not realize that there's potentially, a couple thousand customers that want and need a display case. They've got display cases and could just sell you one. So it's like that's going to happen. But if you think Fanhome are going to give you one, no, they're not. There's no reason to do that. Your business with them starts when you start it. So you can't look at Fanhome like they're Eagle Moss, because they're not. What they have done is took a model over. They have been courteous enough to allow us to finish it. That's it. But well, Eagle Moss owed me this. Take it up with Eagle Moss. Take it up with Eagle Moss. Take it up with Eagle Moss in the courts. That's all you can do. Fanhome are not Eagle Moss, so do not confuse any new subscription with Fanhome to your old subscription with Eagle Moss. Anything you had with Eagle Moss is void. So even if it's, well, I paid a premium, that's gone. I'm owed two binders. Okay, take it up with Eagle Moss. That's where you are. That's how this is. So your business is not, you have no business with Fanhome at this point. None. Your business with Eagle Moss. So anything you have with them, they are not going to honour. They don't have to honour. They're not going to honour. This is between you and Eagle Moss. Anything you sign up for after them is theirs. So for instance, if you sign up from issue, say with the Ghostbusters Ecto 1, I need 36 and 37 to finish the run. So I'm signing up for 36 and 37, that's it. If, whilst I'm putting this together, I realise that apart from stage 40, to stage 20 doesn't work, I have no grounds to go back to Fanhome and say, my stage 20 don't work, send me a replacement. Because I never bought it from them. So they don't have to. That's how this works. This is like, as a simple analogy of this is like going from Virgin Media to Sky. And something you saved on your Virgin Media boxes on your Sky box. Sky don't care. It's nothing to do with them. Same thing. It might be the same model, but it's a completely different company doing it. So just bear that in mind. And that's the way it is. So you can find these negatives if you look for them, but look at the positives. These models that we were halfway through building, that we were enjoying, that we loved building, and now all of a sudden couldn't. Now we can. Now they're back. Now we can do what we wanted to do, which is a wonderful thing. It really is. So you can finish your Enterprise D, you can finish your Eleanor, you can finish your Ecto 1, you can finish your DeLorean. And, more excitingly for me, definitely, I can build the DeLorean, because I always wanted to build it through Eaglemoss, but when the shenanigans happened, I just, no. So I subbed to the DeLorean, and they were a nightmare. So I never received a single issue of DeLorean. I subbed to the DeLorean 2 years ago, and it just didn't turn up. So it was like 3 months. I'm like, bloody hell, this is a long time. This is the DeLorean. They should have this. So it was like 3 months. It just didn't turn up. So I contacted them and said, what's going on? Because it's been 3 months, and they said we don't have issue 1, and I'm like, okay. And I looked at it and thought, well, you don't need issue 1 for quite a while. And I'm like, well, that's fine. Send me 2, 3, 4, and 5 then. So we haven't got those either. And I was like, right, well, what have you got? They said, what we can do is we can send you 4 issues to get you started. And I'm like, okay. And the issues they offered me were mental. It was like, I think it was 2 in the 30s, one in the 60s, and 1 in the 80s. And I was like, bloody hell. And I said, well, what good's that? And they said, well, you will get all the parts of it. I'm like, yeah, no. That's not going to work. I said, right, so when are you going to have issue 1? Don't know. So what do you mean, don't know? And they said, well, don't know. So I said, well, is it going to be next week, or is it going to be next month, or is it going to be next year? Don't know. I'm like, okay, we're done. So that was the point where I cancelled it, and I built Iron Man instead. And I was cursing when Iron Man wasn't really. If you've built Iron Man or you've seen any of the Iron Man builds, you'll know what I'm saying. Iron Man's not exactly an in-depth build, so it was boring. That's the easiest way I can say it. The Iron Man build was boring until the end. The Iron Man build was boring. So whilst I'm building it, I just wasn't into it, and I was thinking, man, I wish I'd just stuck with the DeLorean. So glad I didn't. When Eaglemoss went belly up, I was so glad I didn't keep on with the DeLorean. And this is going to be a problem for some of you as well, because I know that some of you that were building through Eaglemoss got the same thing. You were just getting random issues sent to you. And subbing through Fanhome, you're not going to be able to skip those, or you're just not. So all you're going to be able to do is start from where they got you up to. So if you had, say, you built 1 through 30, but you've got issues 42 and 68 and 83, and this is the way it is. You need to sub from issue 30, really, and build on from there. It's a shame, but it's just what happened. It's just what happened. But it's a good thing. It's a good thing that we get to finish our models. Don't look for negatives in this. There aren't any. The positives are there. We get to finish our models, and that is a wonderful thing. It really is. New things. There is a new one from. I think this is new because I've never seen it. Now, if this isn't new, then okay. But I've literally never seen this one. But this is a new one, I believe, that's come from Rokr, and it is the Magic Cello. Take a look at this. So that is the Magic Cello from Rokr, and it plays itself. So it's a clockwork model. It's a music box, but the bow will play itself. So you can wind this thing up, and it will the bow moves backwards and forwards and plays the cello. It's gorgeous, nice one. I want it, but I've got that many that I want from them that I'm backed up, that I'm like, I don't know if I can get that. There's too many I want to be for that one to win out. Because there are loads of Rokr and Roloff models I want to build. I can't keep up with them. At one point you could. At one point there wasn't enough that I could easily, right, I've got all of them. Then they just started releasing them at a rate of knots, and it's like, bloody hell. And it's there was 5 or 6 a month were coming out at one point. It's like, Jesus, you just can't. But it's one I'd like to get, and if the price is ever right anywhere, I definitely will. And that's my advice to you when it comes to Roloff, Robot Time, and Rokr. If you're in the UK, definitely Europe as well. Look at Amazon and keep your eye on Amazon, because sometimes the savings on these are ridiculous. You get vouchers appear. If you click on it on Amazon, it takes the money off at checkout, and you can get, not kidding, 80-90% discounts on some of these models. I've picked up Robot Time models for very little. I picked up the Canon, which I've got down here. So I picked this one up, and I love this one. It fires ping pong balls. It's a lot of fun. The kids love this, but the cat loves this one because we fire the balls to him. But we managed to pick this one up for £3. It had an 80% reduction on it. We got it for £3, and it is it's glorious. But it's that's what I'm talking about. So if you shop around, you're patient, you keep an eye on them, you can make massive savings. Like the gramophone is one of the most expensive ones that Roloff do, and I think it's around about 80 to 90 quid if you pay full price for it. But I've seen that with discounts of 60%. So you could have picked up the gramophone for 40 quid, 50 quid in some, which is a huge saving. That's a massive saving. It's it's over half price, which is really good. So do that. I mean, if you look, and this works for Roloff as well. So the little houses, the little rooms, again, I've picked up those for £8 when they're normally 40 quid. So keep your eye on on Amazon, and just always check every couple of days. Then all of a sudden you'll go, ooh, and you'll see one that's got a massive reduction on it, and you got to go for it. Orpheus the Sad Robot, I've shown him a couple of times on the channel. Before Christmas you could get him for £6. I'm like, my God, I paid 35 quid for that. You get him for £6. Bargain, absolute bargain. What else have we got coming up on the channel? Well, we've got, as I said, we've got The Last of Iron Man. I'm going to do it. And we have Titanic coming up. We have got Disney Doll's House. We also have, hopefully, Batman. But Batman's not going to be until the first week of February. So we will have the next two. I've got to let the subscription kick in. Everything in me is screaming at me to go to the store and buy issue 3 of Batman, which comes out next Wednesday. But I can't. I've got to let the subscription kick in, otherwise I'm just gonna have all these extra parts of Batman. I have got a second wheel, but I'm alright with that because I quite like the wheel. And again, I don't think there's any harm at all in having a second wheel, but I've got one, so I've got a second ginormous wheel. But it's the tumbler always makes me smile because it's shaping up to be really nice. I'm just hoping, everything in me is hoping that it doesn't let us down. That it's not one of those ones that starts wonderfully and we go, oh God, and then the other stuff doesn't work out. I really hope it isn't. I hope this is kind of a nice one. A bizarre one is this hasn't launched in France, which I find weird because typically France get this stuff before us, but this one never launched in France. Instead, France have got the half-scale Batman, which is weird. It's a very large figure of Batman, and that's what they got. So they didn't get the tumbler. So the only thing I can imagine is a year from now, the big fig Batman will launch here and the tumbler will launch there. That's typically how the rotation of these things work. But it's unusual. I find that very odd. That I don't know. Maybe there's territorial restrictions on what can be released where and when. But yeah, so France have got the giant Batman figure. They haven't got the tumbler, which is weird. I know I'm glad I've got the tumbler. I'm not really sold on these giant figures. I liked the Terminator. I never built it. I liked the Terminator. And it makes sense for the Terminator to be a giant figure because it's a robot. So, putting it together, that makes sense. The Alien, I'm not I'm not sold on. I like it. I'm not saying it's a bad model by any means, but it does look. It looks like what it is. It looks like a giant plastic model held together with glue, and that's not. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's not. I don't know. It's not. Jack really wants to build it, so I might be eating these words and building this bloody thing. And I'm sure if I did build it, I'd enjoy it, because again, it looks fun. It looks a nice build, and I'm not criticizing it at all. But it's for me. It's just not what I want to build. It's not for me. Plus, where am I going to put a 3-foot alien? You know, I can't, just can't. So, yeah, I don't know. And then with the Batman edition, and then the ET test run that happened last year, it looks like these giant figures are becoming more of a thing. Because I don't know why. I'm assuming because they're running out of iconic screen cars, because they are running out of iconic screen cars. Maybe that's why. I don't know. But we don't know if we're going to see ET go to a full run. I'd like to build ET. It's weird. But I quite like that model. I thought it looked quite nice. But again, I know full well it would be gluing skin on. I don't think it would be as much of that as there is with the Alien. Because I know the ET had a lot more internals to it. So it had like a pulsing heart that you're gonna have to build inside of it, and the neck moved up and down on a motor, so I'm fairly sure that the frame is a lot more in depth than the Alien frame. I don't know. This is all just assumption at this point, but we'd have to see. But it's other than that, it's been slow. It's been a slow week, and the most surprising thing I've found is, with the exception of the launch of the Tumbler, nothing else has launched yet, which I find slightly weird. I mean, obviously Fanhome have got all that stuff, so anything Fanhome had planned for this year probably got put on the back burner when all of a sudden they've got 4 new models to launch, because there is still rumblings that we're going to be seeing the Millennium Falcon re-released through Fanhome. I think if that was going to happen, I'm pretty sure that's on the back burner now, based on the fact they've just inherited 4 models. But we'll see. But they are going to be open. So as I said, those 4 models from Fanhome will be open to new subscribers in about 2 weeks' time. So the end of this month, you should be able to subscribe to the DeLorean and the Eleanor. It might be a couple more weeks for Ecto 1 and Enterprise D, but you will be able to. So if you missed them the first time around, you wanted to do them, you will be able to do them. Can't wait to finish mine. I'm hoping that happens in the first half of this year, because it's been exactly 3 years. Sorry, it's been exactly 3 years since we started building this. We started building Ecto 1 this time in 2020. And now here we are in 2023, and we still haven't finished it. It was supposed to finish in May of last year. Then the delays happened, and we're like, will it finish in August of this year? And then here we are. But we will have it finished, and I've had it out, so I've had the Ecto out, and I've given it a dust off and made sure the electrics are still working, and put fresh batteries in it and things like that, so it's ready to go. So when those parts turn up, it's ready to finish. Beyond that, no, it's been a quiet month, all in all. But what are we watching? We watched The Last of Us. I don't know if any of you have played The Last of Us, but I adored it. So when the game first came out, I played the first one through. I played the DLC as well, which was The Last of Us Left Behind, and I played The Last of Us 2. Absolutely love the games. I've played both of them multiple times. And just really enjoyed them. The story was very in-depth, and for me, as an old school gamer, I know gaming today is very different. So what my kids game, I can't get my head around it, because the things like Fortnite and it's not for me. As much as I enjoy gaming, do I want some angry 13-year-old from, Texas screaming at me over no, I don't really. And I think my generation look at games like Fortnite and go, really? And it looks like a step backwards compared to where we were. It looks like a step backwards. I'm of the generation where gaming was personal. It wasn't this massive online thing. It was personal. So any game that had an in-depth story that was like a sprawling epic is always held favourably. We always remember well. So like Final Fantasy VII, for instance, an amazing story, just an absolutely sprawling epic. Resident Evil, the Resident Evil series, so Resident Evil 2 particular, I remember when that was first released. Killer story, great scenario, fantastic game. And I miss those. I think those are sadly missing. The games with kind of sprawling epics are sadly missing, in exchange for, throwing obscenities at each other online, and it's missing. But The Last of Us is one of the more recent ones in memory. I mean, God of War is the same as well, but The Last of Us definitely is an absolutely epic game. I mean, it spans 20 years. I mean, when you go from the opening of The Last of Us to where the actual game takes place, there's a 20-year gap, and then you've got the first game takes place over a year, and the second one is in a similar mold. So when they started making a film of it originally, I thought, well, you can't fit all of this into 90 minutes. It's not gonna, without omitting massive chunks. I think that's where the problem's been with movie adaptations of video games. There isn't a good one. As much as everyone says, well, this one wasn't bad. Wasn't bad is not good. I can't think of a good video game adaptation movie. I can't. Someone's going to say one, and I'm like, not really. I mean, the exception to the rule, people Sonic the Hedgehog, I'm like, yeah, but that's not really a video game adaptation, is it? That is a character from a video game you've thrown in a movie. That's what that is. It's not an adaptation of the video game. It isn't. Because 90% of the levels are missing, as are 90% of the villains you encounter. It's not an adaptation. They've literally just took the character of Sonic the Hedgehog and put him in a movie. That's what that is. I wouldn't say it's a video game adaptation. A video game adaptation, I would say it's like Resident Evil, Silent Hill, Assassin's Creed, Hitman. There hasn't been a good one. There hasn't. I welcome the comments and it would say, whoa, wait a minute. I'm like, not really. I mean, even Mortal Kombat, the latest Mortal Kombat, was better than most adaptations. It wasn't a good movie. It just wasn't. I'd go back and watch it again, because you might have been like, this wasn't bad. It wasn't bad for a video game movie. Would it hold up as a normal? No. And like the Resident Evil movies have been such a bloody misfire. And I was excited for Welcome to Raccoon City. I thought, hey, maybe they'll get this right this time. They didn't. So I didn't have high hopes for The Last of Us. I thought I can't see this being good. Then they said they're making it into a TV show. And I'm thinking, maybe. That, it gives it time. Blown away. I watched episode 1 and it is bloody amazing. It really is. It's scarily accurate to the video game. It looks good. The acting's good. The writing's good. The effects are good. The everything. And I'm impressed so far. I mean, that doesn't mean that's going to remain the narrative, but episode 1 blew me away. I thought it was really good. Really good. And I'm looking forward to seeing where we're going with it, which is weird. I mean, to be looking forward to a video game adaptation when I'm so used to disappointment. Again, I'm from the generation that saw the first adaptations of video game movies. Just sat through every single one of them disappointed. This is how old I am. I went to the movies to see the adaptation of Super Mario Brothers with Bob Hoskins. If you've never seen that, I'd advise watching it just so you can go, what? It's a masterclass in how not to use your source material. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. It's got next to nothing to do with the video games. It's just a bizarre movie. It involves dinosaurs evolving into people and then de-evolving back into it's weird, man. It's weird. It's really odd. But yeah, I'd advise, if you've never seen it, to watch it just so you can see what I'm talking about. Like the original Mortal Kombat movie was terrible. It was a time when CGI was becoming a thing. So there's just awful CGI in the Mortal Kombat movie, these shiny dragons, and it's terrible. But I really enjoyed The Last of Us, and if you haven't seen it yet, recommend it. In the UK, you can see it on Sky Atlantic, or you can see it on Sky Go App. But yeah, really good. Really, really good. That's all from me. So, thank you for stopping by. If you haven't yet, please remember to like and subscribe. We will have builds coming up on the channel, so I will have the T-shop build will be going up this week. As will a very little thing about repairing ornaments. And that sounds weird, but I've seen a lot of people try and get it bad. So it's just a little tutorial on how to do these. swing by and take a look if your glue work ain't quite great. That's all. Remember, you can contact us on billandtheboysoutlet.com. In a world where you can be anything at all, just be nice. Please remember to like and subscribe, and we will see you very soon for more builds, more shenanigans, more mayhem. Catch you then. Bye-bye.